Shuttlecraft, maintain your position and stand by.
Standing by.
Somebody's very methodically directing their mannerisms, their words.
Transporter control, what's our status?
We have a green panel, sir.
Stand by to transport.
Aye, sir.
Energize. Keiko only spends a few days at a time on the station. I'm the one living in those quarters. And if I want to set up a little workshop in the bedroom...
You set up a workshop in the bedroom?
Yeah. Well, I don't use it when she's visiting.
Oh, of course not.
She says I'm trying to live like a bachelor again. That I'm expressing a subconscious desire to push her out of our quarters.
Now, that is ridiculous.
Well, that's what I said.
I mean, if anything, by spending your free time in the bedroom, a place you intimately associate with Keiko, you are actually expressing a desire to be closer to her during her absence. It's quite touching, really.
Exactly. Exactly. See, you understand. Now, why can't she see that? Why can't she be more like...
More like...
Well, a man. See, you understand. Now, why can't she see that? Why can't she be more like...
More like...
Well, a man. More like a man. More like a man. More like a man.
Watch their facial gestures. You can see this is being manipulated. Every little thing is being directed.
So, you wish Keiko was a man?
I wish I was on this trip with someone else. That's what I wish.
Somebody took extreme time and labor.
Of fire, I will not cease from mental fight.
No.
Nor shall my sword sleep in my hand till we have built Jerusalem in England's green and pleasant land.
Ha!
That was really beautiful, Chief. You know what we should do?
What?
We should go to Quark's and sing it for everybody.
Oh, no, I think we should switch to synth-ale.
No!
Would you care for some coffee, Hanson?
No, thank you, sir.
How about a sandwich?
I don't think so, sir.
Oh, come on, it's been hours. You must be hungry.
And that's what it might appear on the surface to any idiot or moron watching Star Trek. But no, this is not what's happening. What they're doing is they're telling you two storylines. And the surface lines are the dumb show that's intended for the idiots that are watching.
I was a young Starfleet officer, not many years older than you are now. Top of my academy class. Green as hell. And oh so cocky. Too cocky, as it turned out.
Here he is telling
Well,
him
my
this
mates
story.
and I were
It
at
gets
the-
Wesley all excited.
The Bumstell Recreation Facility.
And he talks about how he went to the Bumstell Recreational Facility. Bum, as in ass. Stell, as in stellar. As in a star. Anus. Bum. Anus. Recreational facility. Oh, it's for fun. It's not just an exit hole. You can have fun with it.
Which was something of a dead rough crossroads at the time, filled with an assorted bunch of galactic riffraff. When...
So they're hanging out at the Bumstell Recreational Facility. All these young men.
a trio of Norsicans came in. They were clearly spoiling for a confrontation with a group of fresh-faced Starfleet officers such as ourselves. Well, everyone in the group had the good sense to give these Norsicans a Wide berths, stand off. Everyone, that is, except me.
Jean-Luc Picard talks about he wasn't afraid of the Norsicans, you know, and even though the Norsicans seem to have a reputation for being very large and very scary.
I stood toe-to-toe with the worst of the three. I possibly made some passing reference to his questionable parentage. And the next thing I knew, all three of them were on me, and I was fighting for my life. I was actually doing quite well for a while, too.
You fought them and won?
I had this one Norsican down in this somewhat devious joint lock.
He had one of the Norsicans in a, what was it, a delightfully devious joint lock? So he says that and he kind of grins, like, just to make it even more obvious in case you were too stupid to realize that he wasn't talking about wrestling. He was talking about grabbing their package.
Somewhat devious joint lock when, unbeknownst to me, one of his chums drew his weapon and impaled me through the back. Curious sensation, actually. Not much pain.
One of these Norsicans penetrated him, or impaled him from behind. Impaled him from behind. Those are the words he uses. Then he looks down, he smiles, as if to say, like, okay, whatever's about to come out of my mouth is bullcrap, but it's intended for the stupid people watching the dumb show. And then he goes, oh, it was a fierce blade with a serrated edge.
Shock, certainly, at the sight of serrated metal sticking through my chest. A certain giddy warmth. In fact, I do actually remember that I laughed out loud.
And he says it was a warm, giddy sensation.
Giddy warmth. In fact, I do actually remember that I laughed out loud.
He's telling young Wesley that to have his rectum violated was a warm, giddy sensation. It's so meticulous, it's so obvious, but it wasn't to me back when I was smart, was it? And it wouldn't be to anybody else who is not paying attention, because they don't know. They're too ignorant of what this is. I don't think too many people out there would know what is going on unless they followed my work. I don't know anybody else who's really going to the trouble of exposing all this to the degree that I have. There is a group of people out there that seem to get this pretty well, aren't there? They're not necessarily minions of the system, but they knew it, such as the guy that posted this clip on YouTube and said this was the hottest video ever. Something which lets you know that he understood exactly what was going on, even before Don't Go West came out, even before people like myself were putting the information out there showing how this is pretty much omnipresent in movies. There was a large segment of the population that got this. The guy that put this video out there on YouTube and said this was the hottest Star Trek scene ever, whoever he is, thought it was the hottest scene ever because he is a gay man who thinks that sex between young boys and old men is hot. And there's tons of people who picked up on this. And the one thing these people have in common is they're all gay. I don't believe this nonsense that there's this big gay conspiracy. I believe that there is a initiatory brotherhood of homosexual men where sodomy is prerequisite for advancing up the ladder, so to speak. And these are initiatory brotherhoods. And I think this is actually what's taken control of Masonic fraternities. This is what was laid on top of it back in whatever years the Masons were talking about, that they realized they had been infiltrated and compromised. It's these, basically this sodomite cult, what we may call the Setian Jehovian sect. These gay men that watched this, and because they were gay, they watched this and they got it, because it was so obvious to them that this was sexual interplay going on. Why didn't they say anything? Why did none of them choose to tell them, like, oh yeah, Star Trek's the biggest homoerotic, pre-jerk-off fag fest there is? Why didn't they tell me that about Star Trek? Why did they feel the need to keep that to themselves? That's a fair question. The gay men in our society who knew what was going on when they were watching that felt like they were part of some joke and that they would snicker as they watched this because it was obvious to them, and they didn't choose to share. And that begs the question, why? It's a fair question. It's a fair question we can ask. Now, is it because they somehow feel privileged that they are a special part and apart from the human race because of their sexuality, which is ridiculous. But it seems that the program has been driven into homosexual men in a lot of ways that makes them feel somehow a part. If you're homosexual and you saw this scene, or you've seen other scenes, and you do not choose to share with other people that they are being victimized by a joke at the expense of the people that are hiding behind you, then you have failed as a human being. And you have to ask yourself, why am I doing this? And the answer is because there's a program running in your head telling you to. And if you don't rip out that program, then you can never become part of the human race. Why defend the program and not defend humanity? Via the conditioning by the media, what we're seeing is there's a group of men growing up, and they've been so subliminally influenced to be homosexual that they just don't know they're homosexual. This pederast priest class and their servants, their temple dogs, the Studying Jehovian sect, they like little boys. And they're going to spend the rest of their time by trying to shape those under them, in other words, us, to convince us there's something wrong with us. Every deviant, regardless of whether or not they're in a power group or not, what they devote their life to doing is trying to convince themselves that they are normal. That's why these guys are attacking femininity, because it disgusts them. They are scared of it. They are terrified of it. They want the rest of the world to disrespect what they hate and loathe.
There must have been so many people who understood what was going down in programs like Star Trek and never uttered a word. For humanity, that really sucks.
You're gay. Good. Okay, be gay. You've got neighbors. You've got friends. You've got people that you care about.
Family, for God's sake, you know?
Yeah. Why not say something? SpongeBob and Patrick, it's like the Lone Ranger and Tonto. It's the same repeating story. The cork and the arsehole.
But if we'd not been so near to a medical facility, I would surely have died.
Really?
Learned a very hard, very painful lesson that day. But I learned it well. Hope you never have to learn it the same way. Okay for another sandwich?
Please.
Gotcha. Now I gotcha. Hey.
Some children are certainly making a lot of noise in here.
You shouldn't be outside so long. It's damaging, you know that.
I'm wearing plenty of your skin protector.
How about you, young man? Do you wear your skin protector outdoors? You do? Good boy. How about you, young man? Do you wear your skin protector outdoors? You do? Good boy.